Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Charity First Handicapping Challenge here on a beautiful Saturday morning. And it is a special day today. We've got 10 races. The racing office keeps bringing it. It is fantastic. First post today, don't forget, is early. It's at 12 noon. So the races are going to start a little bit earlier than normal. That's why we started our show just a little bit earlier than normal. My name is Georgio, and my partner in crime is Chappie. Say hello, Chappie.
Hey, Georgie, how you doing, buddy? I had to rush back from the studio at Angel Stadium to get here just in time, but a terrific, like you said, 10-race card today. Santa Anita Meet's gotten off to a great start here. I'm ready to roll, and I love the guests we have today. This is going to be, if nothing else, a lot of fun. I think like that.
That is for sure. And again, two big stakes races today, La Cañada and the La Cienegas. Some really nice runners in there. We'll get to them a little bit later. But right now, let's meet our guests. They're both fantastic. I'm going to start with Team Georgio. Team Georgio has a wonderful Steve Rothblum. He is a racing manager, equine consultant, trainer, actor. You should have seen him when he was young. He's still handsome, but when he was young, he was like, leading man material, man. This guy was a leading man. And I don't want to misquote, but this is a quote that I got from him. And he says, real quick, he says he works for the Doug O'Neill barn. Basically, they're a team. They don't work anybody who doesn't. They seem like a team. It's so much fun. And here's a quote. He says to the Doug O'Neill barn: "Everybody's welcome, but no one's safe." All right, baby. Steve, welcome to the show.
Georgie, it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Kind of can't wait to get on with this. This should be fun.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what it's like to be part of the Doug O'Neill barn.
Wow. Well, about me, you kind of gave them my history. I mean, to say any more than that, I'd have to delve into my personal life, and I'm sure that your listeners don't want to hear about that. But now I'm a racing manager and equine consultant. You're correct there. And I work very closely with Doug, and what it's like, gosh, it's been how many years now? 15 years at least. And Doug is like my brother. He's as you guys all know, he is a fantastic human being, a great guy, an excellent conditioner. And I feel very blessed to be part of that team and to have at least some small bit of input into what goes on. It's living the dream, Georgie, living the dream.
Why not us? Why not us?
Why not us, baby?
All right, welcome to the show, and we can't wait to hear your picks. Go ahead, Chappie.
Before I get to my guest, I got to say one thing. If you're ever having a good day, a bad day, no matter what, or if you just want to brighten your day a little bit or have some fun, you just go up to Suite 1 where Team O'Neill is hanging out. It's always a party. Whether they're winning, losing, or not, it doesn't matter. There's usually a lot of tequila flowing, and they're having a heck of a time. So, Steve, I love you. You're not on my team, but Benny, now I got to get to my guest now, don't I guess? All the superlatives for your guest. From Trip Note Pros, my man, he does a lot of work, and he rarely sleeps, Mr. Benny Southstreet. Benny, how you doing? You tired this morning?
I'm always a little bit tired, but I got the Red Bull going, so I'm good to go. I thought of you this morning. I actually shaved for the camera. Yeah. and I was looking at myself thinking, man, I need a haircut so bad. I wish I was Chappie, and I didn't have to deal with this nonsense haircut.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Hey, Benny, before we get going, tell everybody a little bit about Trip Note Pros, where they can find the information. Give them the whole layout here.
Yeah, so founded a company about 6 months ago called Trip Note Pros. Essentially, we just write replays for most applicable horses, or all applicable horses on a couple major circuits. So a lot of people like to watch replays. Nobody likes to put in the time to do it. It just takes too long. And we feel like we've got a pretty good eye. We focus on a couple things that most people don't look for when watching replays, and those being jockey intent and horse comfort. So it's not just about the obvious trouble that shows up on the tote board. It's about the other stuff that's somewhat subjective that can offer up some value on the tote board. So tripnotepros.com is the website. Appreciate the plug.
It's great stuff. There's no doubt about it, Georgie.
Yeah, you know what? And sometimes, you see the little comments in the racing forum, and the guys that are making those comments, they've got so much work to do. They have a lot of work compiled upon themselves, and sometimes it's not as accurate as it is, but not 100%. So to get insight from Trip Note Pros is essential. It's just essential because they'll let you know. If the kids, many times it'll say stumbled at the start. Well, Trip Note Pros will tell you if it was a significant stumble, if it wasn't a significant stumble, and like he said, takes into account jockey intent, so many factors. It is just a plethora of information and just another tool in your arsenal when you're handicapping horses. I highly recommend it. They have it in English and Spanish. So really, hats off to you guys. You do a wonderful, wonderful job. All right, so a little bit about the tournament. If you guys don't know about it, it's a elimination tournament, head to head. If you win, you move on to the next round. If you lose, you're out of the tournament. Each of our handicappers are going to start with $300 of mythical money. So they're going to have $100 that they have to play to win on one horse. Then they're going to have $100 in exactas. They can either do a ice cold exacta, as Dave Weaver says, or they can do a $50 exacta box or a $50 part wheel. Also, they'll have $100 to play the daily double. They can either play an ice cold daily double or a part wheel, one horse to two horses, or two horses to one horse in $50 increments. So at the end of the day, whoever has the most money accumulated will move on to the next round. And if any of our handicappers turn that $300 into over $1,000, it'll be extra money for our charity. That's the reason we're doing this, is to raise money for Karma that takes care of these magnificent horses once they retire. Horse race
names.
All right, so we're going to start it out with my man Steve Rosbloom, who I absolutely love. He's been so kind to me over the years, and he's just a wonderful handicapper. Steve, you got $100 to win. Where are you going and why?
All right, I am going in the third race, and I am going with number 4, Living at the Boo.
Woo!
All right, now I just figure because you got to make over 1,000 to get the bonus points. There's my shot. And the reason I'm kind of going off of Awesome Again out of a Malibu Moon mare, a filly stretching out from 5.5 going a mile, which she's ideally bred to do. She's a little shy number wise, but I think it's a move. She's stepping forward, I'm hoping. And also I'm going somewhat on, I got a little push from the jockey agent of Abel Cedillo. You guys all know Tom Canoose. This is for me, it's taking a kind of a step off of a deep cliff because Tom is seldom right. But yeah, but I looked at this one, and as you know, when you guys asked me about doing this and to pick a day, Tom was there and he said, pick the 9th, pick January 9th. I got one I really like. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna hitch my horse to that wagon. So we're going with my $100 to win on Living at the Boo.
All right, $100 to win and a horse, a filly actually stretching out, and you got Cedillo aboard. Before we get to your pick, Chappie, so you talked about Tom Canoose. He's actually the jockey agent for Cedillo. He was the jockey agent for a long time for this man behind me right here, Mario Gutierrez. What was it like, Steve, when the whole "I'll have another" run was going on? Talk to us about what that was like?
That was a dream come true. You know, he was a really nice horse, and even at the barn, we liked him. But you know, at one point, we were going to run him in a condition allowance race, and kudos to Paul Redham. He stepped up, and I think we ran him in the Bob Lewis or whatever the 3-year-old stake was as a prep for the Derby. And I went with blind faith, and I bet a couple hundred to win on him, and he won. And I think he paid like $80, and then came back and won the Santa Anita Derby. And going into the Kentucky Derby, we seriously, he drew the 19 hole, but it didn't bother us at all. And I tell you, it was one of those deals where you just kind of knew he was going to win. And that was probably one of my all-time wagers because Doug and Mark Virgin and I each bet a couple hundred to win on him in the future book and got a huge price. And then we bet on him Derby Day. And just to watch him kind of get a wide trip, but, you know, to come on and get Bodemeister and beat him by a head, what a feeling. I mean, the first Derby win that you ever have, it's kind of an outer body experience. And then to go on to win the Preakness was amazing. And rolling into Belmont Park with the 4-5 favorite for the Belmont, and then to have him come up with a minor soft tissue injury 2 days before the race. We went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. But, you know, even the day after, looking back, we were just thankful. I mean, we won the Derby and the Preakness. And, yeah, it was a shame we couldn't win the Triple Crown, but just a magical ride. So much fun.
It must have been. Chappie, it's always fun to be around the Doug O'Neill barn. Can you imagine being around in them days?
No, but I'll tell you what was amazing is because you and I have been longtime friends with Steve and Doug. We weren't there, but it was kind of like we joined in on the celebration because we've known them so well. So a little small part of us won the Derby as well. I mean, you know, we'll never forget that. And I got one more comment before we get to our pick. The three of us, we're all in these offices, you know, look like we haven't been outside in 6 months. Steve looks like he's living at the Boo right now. He's out in the sun, he's probably having a cocktail already. You look like you're having a ball there, Rothblum.
Well, yeah. I just got back from the barn. We went out, and matter of fact, watching the works this morning, kind of looking forward to the 3-year-old, the big classics coming up. And we worked Hot Rod Charlie this morning, and gosh, his work, I mean, he went 101 and change, which is exactly what we wanted. But if you guys go back and watch a video of his work, wow, he jumps a long way, and he was so smooth, and he's turning into a real man right now. He's just maturing. And I think with him and the great one, and even we've got another colt or two there, we're kind of getting a little feeling we're on the Derby trail this year too.
Sounds
I like
great.
it.
It's funny because Chappie is just maturing as well. I think this year he actually matures. So Chappie, let's get to your pick.
I'm finally coming into my own. All right, Benny, $100 to win. Where are we going, buddy, and why?
A real quick add-on to that story. I'll have another. I used to throw a Kentucky Derby party at my house every year. And
I'm losing you guys again.
And withdraw, 10 dimes or so, and everyone would play on my ADW, so everyone was betting. And we had a guy make the same bet as Steve. He bet $200 to win, and I reeled off $3,200 bills as 100 people counted them off. It was awesome.
Wow,
nice.
I had it was pretty cool.
I love it.
So my pick, I'm not as clever as Steve. I've got a chalky play in the 7th race. I'm going to head to Earl's Rock. Seen this story before. These shippers from D'Amato. Pratt gets up. I don't think much of this field. To me, it looks like a bunch of horses that are trying to find their path, and got a couple first timers that I'm going to take a stand again. And I've always been a big fan of Europeans shipping and running against Southern California turf horses. So that's my win bet. Earl's Rock, number 1, and race 7.
Okay, so race 7, the 1, Earl's Rock, Phil D'Amato coming in from Ireland, probably tipping their hand a little bit with Flavian Pratt getting the call. 5-2, that's our win bet. Georgie, we're very confident. Back to you.
All right, Steve, you got a horse in that race too. Enough Nonsense, who hasn't really performed much on the dirt, but the one time on the grass at 5 furlongs, best race of his life, he just missed by a head. Looks like the grass might be beneficial to Enough Nonsense in that race as well, right?
Yeah, and that's, as you know, Square Eddies, they take to the grass, and So it's going to be interesting to see. It's a stretch out, from the 5 furlong second, but everything in her breeding suggests that that's okay. So we'll just see. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right. You got $100 exacta. Where are you going with that, Steve?
My $100 exacta is coming in race 10, and I am going with the 4 on top of the 1-6. That's Great Power on top of Defense Wins and Bob's Sniper.
All right, race number 10, the get out race.
Yeah, and I was kind of torn between just boxing Great Power and Defense Wins, but I don't. I had a question about the rider on Defense Wins. I really don't know her, and he can be a little challenging. As you know, we had him. So that's why I threw in Bob Sniper, because I like the numbers from the Thorograph, and Tyler Bays on a horse that went from Val Brinkerhoff to Howie Zucker. I'm thinking he's got a shot there to run second. So I'm going with Great Power on top of Defense Wins and Bob Sniper.
All right, 4 with the 1-6 and the 10th, the get out race. Chappie?
All right, Benny, let's get to our exacta, buddy. Where are you going and why?
I'm going to stick with, I'm going to count on Mr. D'Amato being hot today. I'm going to put Charmaine's Mia underneath on both exactas. So I'm going to play a $50 exacta. 4 and 5. A little birdie told me that Julia Olympica has not been working well, so I'm going to toss her completely. And it's 4 and 5 over the 2. The same kind of thing. D'Amato, he's taken a couple of these Woodbine horses recently, and he's brought them in, and they've really moved up.
Yeah, she got some close works.
I think Charmaine's Mia is going to be a live long shot. I don't think she'll be 15-1, but hopefully she'll come running late and fill that exacta spot.
I like it. So Benny's getting creative there with another D'Amato horse, 15-1 on the morning line, hoping it sneaks underneath in the exacta, and we're throwing Jolie Olympic completely out. So 4-5 with 2 in the ninth, Georgie. I like our selection so far, and we're hoping D'Amato has a big day.
Oh yeah, that's that would certainly pay well if D'Amato gets in there with DVD and comes in second in the La Cienega Stakes. On paper, really, everybody's kind of focusing in on the 6 and the 7. So if you can get the 2 as a long shot in there, it's certainly going to blow up the exacta. All right, let's go to my man Steve. You got a daily double. Where are you going with on your daily double?
Okay. Oh, this is the daily double, honey. Okay. I'm going in the 5th race with the 1 Zucchero and the 4 cover version, to the 6th race to the number 7. This loot is mine. The loot is mine. And reasoning for that, I really like cover version, but I think that looking at Gutierrez, you have a Baltus. She's on the fence, shortening to a mile. Rosario. Again, the Thoroughgraphs look fairly good. And I also look at my man John Hardoon's picks, and he's a 3-star pick on cover version. So I'm using those 2 to go $50 exacta to the loot is mine, who I just, experience. Yeah, Flavian Pratt, Pete Miller, dropping out of maiden special weight. That's where I'm going.
All right, so looks like a very nice daily double. 1-4 to the 7, starting in race 5. And you mentioned it briefly. You mentioned that you got Rosario on this in the first leg. You got Pratt in the second leg. In the 9th race, in the 10th race, you like Juanito Hernandez, who's been tearing it up, leading these jockeys. Steve, this is one of the deepest jockey colonies that I've seen here in a while. What do you make of this jockey colony, Steve?
Well, it's certainly an outstanding colony, and I think that Joel Rosario coming out here and staying for the meet was huge. I mean, Joel is world class. Um, when you watch him finish, he is so strong. He picks horses up and carries them. Almost reminds me a lot of how Lafitte used to ride. Um, and of course, Flavian, world class also. JJ's riding out of his mind right now. Abel Cedillo, a very top class rider. And I think, yeah, like you said, you go down the list and we've got such a strong room. Drayden Van Dyke. Uh, God, I mean, I could go on. There's just so
Even
many.
Gonzalez is doing well, huh, Steve?
All right,
He,
little
he
Ricky.
surprised me.
Yeah, little Ricky's riding well. And I mean, you'll know by you look at the horses that we run, and I mean, we use Abel a lot, but gosh, we don't feel, you know, we don't feel the rider's going to get us beat at any time because we've got our choice. And then, of course, you have Jessica Pfeiffer, who I have to take my hat off to her. She's put the time in. Excuse me. She works her butt off, and horses really run for her. So, yeah, it's an interesting colony. It's very deep, really good riders. And I think one trait that all of those guys have in common is that they're all really good guys, too. I mean, you can talk to any one of them. They come out with a kind of a plan in their head. They know where where they project to be in the race, but they also are smart enough to react to the situation as it unfolds. Um, but all of them really great guys, and of course Jessica's a lovely lady. So I think that's a characteristic that they all share. Where in the old days, we were talking about this morning. There were some riders who were just not really nice guys, but you put them, they got to ride the best horses, and that was the way it was. Now I think these guys are a lot more, I don't know, for lack of a better word, more user friendly. Um, they they can communicate with the trainers. They appreciate the grooms, um, the hot walkers. They appreciate the work that it goes into to putting that horse under them for the race. And I think that's just huge.
It really is.
I got a question real quick for both of you guys, since we've been carding quite a few turf races so far. Now the rails are not out today, and I had missed some time, but I'm back. From what I've seen so far, do you think you need to be a little bit forwardly placed right now on the turf course, or is it playing pretty fair to you? Benny first, and then Steve.
To me, turf racing, it's Santa Anita. I pay attention when the rails are out 20 or 30 feet. When they're at zero, I consider it a neutral situation. It's turf racing, right? So you got to stay covered up, fight your way to the rail, stay there as long as you can, and hopefully find a clear path in the lane. But when they're at zero, I don't pay much attention to it. I think it's perfectly fair at zero.
Steve-O?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, with the rails, stay, in their normal position. I don't think it favors speed or come from behinders. I think it plays pretty even. And of course, the difference between this turf course and Del Mar is that at Del Mar you have some banking, so it kind of throws the speed horse down towards the inside just by centrifugal force and kind of helps them along. At Santa Anita, you don't have that, so I think it plays pretty even, especially with the rails at zero. Um, and yeah, and I kind of agree. A turf horse, more times than not, you want covered up, especially here at Santa Anita.
All right, Benny, let's get on to our double, my friend. Where are you going and why?
I'm sticking to Charmaine's Mia. My plan all along was this was my play, and I was gonna use this one around in both the exactas and the doubles. So I'm gonna keep it. I've got her second. Let's put her on top in the double. I actually spoke with Michelle Yu this morning about defense wins, and she didn't like this one, and she's usually pretty good with me with info. And even though Hanson's hot, he's 3 for his last 10. I'm going to toss the one. The Baltus, he's been cold. He's 2 for his last 33. So I'm going to pitch the Baltus. And outside of those two, which are the two that frightened me a little bit, I couldn't see my way around the 4 and the 5. So those are going to be the two that I'm going to use in the double. So let's go $50. Charmaine's Mia, the 2 with the 4 Great Power and the 5 Astrologer.
All right, I like it. So back to D'Amato once again at a big price. So we're trying to get some big balloons here, Georgie. Charmaine's Mia as that key at 15 to 1.
That sounds good. We're going to let our handicappers take a look at race number 6, guys, because that's going to be the tiebreaker. So go to race number 6 while me and Chappie decide which one of you goes first in the tiebreaker. We got a scientific method of rock, paper, scissors. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors.
You got it.
All right, 1. Hey, Steve, you go first. This is just in case you both end up at 0 or you end up tied for some incredible reason. Just a tiebreaker. You just got to pick a horse that's going to finish in front of Benny's horse. Race 6, give us a horse, any horse.
I like the 7.
7. All right,
Yeah.
Benny.
I'm going to be rooting for my boy Ryan Hansen. The 14,
All right, so he's
Robin's
going,
Legacy.
number 14, Robin's Legacy. All right.
All right.
Woo, a big
20 to 1.
You know, and I got to tell you guys,
I'm going to have about 3 dimes at that point. So.
Can I chime in here?
Steve.
I want to say, I mean, I really like Benny's picks with the D'Amato filly. Her works have been just really outstanding. So I kind of feel like that's kind of going to tell a lot of the story with Charmaine's Mia. Her works have been great. She's had some good races, and you get a price. Numbers wise, she figures right there with those mares. Of course, she's got to overcome the proven quality in the race, and who we've thrown out, Julia Olympica. But I kind of like where he's going there. I kind of feel the same way he does about her.
Yeah, she's coming in from Canada, and we're getting a lot of horses. I mean, hats off to Chris Merce. He's doing such a great job. You got the Sunshine Bonus trying to track horses. We got horses coming in from everywhere, 10% increase in purses. The racing has been stellar, up and down all the cards since we started racing. So you gotta say, hey, Chris Merce came in and he really, him and everybody over there in the racing office just done a phenomenal job. And the racing here has been fantastic. You guys were fantastic as well. Thank you both for coming on the show. One of you has to win and one of you has to lose. We wished both of you could win. We love you guys, and thank you guys very much. Any last words before we say goodnight here, Chappie?
Wow, it was a great show, and I knew we'd have a lot of fun with these guys. But when people are watching, listening in, this is invaluable information both of them give. I mean, terrific handicappers. They know the horses up and down, and that's what we like to see and hear. So appreciate it from both of you guys.
Yeah, definitely go to notepros.com. It's worth every penny, and it's not really expensive at all. So much information. They do such a good job. And if you ever want to own a horse, I can't think of any barn in the world that's better to be a part of than the Doug O'Neill barn. And I really encourage you, if you're going to be a horse owner, to consider using this guy to be your trainer right there. All right. Don't forget, post time's at 12 noon. Early post time. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys.